In a quiet home, nestled deep in the woods, 78-year-old Elara Vance lived a life of peaceful solitude, a retired librarian. She was beginning to navigate the hazy fog of earlier stage dementia. Her most trusted companion wasn't a person, but a small digital recorder-ran audio diary where she meticulously documented her days. A safeguard against her own forgetting mind. One misty afternoon, this peaceful world was shattered. A man, bleeding and wounded, stumbled out of the woods and collapsed on her driveway. Before Elara could even fully process the horror, an unmarked van appeared, scooped him up, and vanished down the highway access road. Shaken to her core, she did the only thing she could think of. She called the police. 2 hours later, Detective Leon Hayes arrived. He saw a spotless house and a visibly distraught old woman. When Elara struggled to recall the exact time of the incident, a common symptom of her condition, Hayes's cynical mind made a snap judgment. "Mrs. Vance," he said, his voice dripping with condescension, "we found some blood, but no body and no van. Are you sure that wasn't just a bad dream?" He dismissed her, labeling her an unreliable witness. But the very next day, a body was found miles away. The victim matched the trespasser's description, but there was one chilling detail: a unique, deep cut on his arm. A cut that eerily matched an antique letter opener sitting forgotten in Elara's drawing room. Suddenly, Detective Hayes, under immense pressure to close the case, had a new theory. Elara Vance was no longer a witness. She was his prime suspect. Hayes brought Elara to the station for what he called a final statement. But it wasn't a statement. It was an ambush. For 7 agonizing hours, in a room without cameras or microphones, he launched a relentless psychological assault. He began by probing her daily routine, waiting for the inevitable stumbles in her memory. When she faltered, he pounced. "See, you can't even remember where you put your keys. How can you be sure you didn't defend yourself? Maybe you just don't want to remember." Slowly, methodically, he fed her a new reality. He described the unique cut, the letter opener, the timing. He painted a picture of a panicked, disoriented old woman chasing the man off her property, causing a fatal injury, and then conveniently repressing the entire traumatic event. He twisted her vulnerability into a weapon against her. After hours of shouting, his tone shifted, becoming soft, almost fatherly. "You're a good woman, Elara," he whispered, "but your mind is failing you. We know what happened. You were just defending your home. Just sign this statement, and we can put this all behind you. It's the only way." Terrified, exhausted, and now questioning her own sanity, Elara broke. Had she done it? In a moment of confusion she couldn't recall, had she become a killer? Believing it was her only escape, she picked up the pen. She signed the detailed false confession Hayes had written for her, a complete fabrication of a struggle that never happened. The next day, Elara Vance was charged with second-degree murder. Facing a signed confession, Elara's situation seemed hopeless. Her lawyer, Julian Finch, suspected coercion, but knew it was nearly impossible to prove. The key, the one thing that could shatter the detective's web of lies, was hidden in the one place Elara had stored her true memories: her digital audio diary. The defense team retrieved the encrypted files. What they found was staggering. The diary contained a continuous, high-quality audio recording that began 30 minutes before the trespasser ever appeared. It captured the mundane sounds of Elara's afternoon, her making tea, the rustle of book pages, and then her clear, frantic voice calling 911. There was no struggle, no chase, no panicked cleanup. Their entire narrative of the confession was a ghost, a story invented by Hayes. But there was more. The diary held another entry, recorded just 10 minutes after Detective Hayes left her house on that first day. Elara's voice was firm. He kept saying, "I didn't see the van," she recorded. "I know I saw the van. I must write this down so I don't forget." This wasn't the voice of a confused old woman. It was the voice of a clear-headed witness whose testimony had been deliberately ignored. The final crushing blow came from a neurolinguistics expert. They compared Elara's voice from her Diricom articulate with a rich vocabulary to the recordings from the final hour of her interrogation. During the interrogation, her speech was broken. She stammered, used short phrases, and, most damningly, repeated the exact specific vocabulary Hayes had used to build his false narrative. The expert's conclusion was undeniable. Elara was under extreme duress. The confession wasn't her memory, it was his script. She hadn't recalled it. She had absorbed it. In the courtroom, the jury listened. They heard the calm, confident voice from the audio diary, the unbreakable witness stand contrasted it with the chilling evidence of psychological manipulation. The truth was finally clear. Detective Hayes hadn't solved a crime. He had manufactured one, weaponizing a woman's medical condition to close a case. The murder charge against Elara Vance was dismissed with prejudice. Detective Hayes was fired and subsequently convicted of coercion and official misconduct. Elara received a massive civil settlement, but the victory was larger than just one woman's freedom. The case set a new, vital precedent, mandating audio and video recording for all interviews with cognitively vulnerable individuals and banning the very psychological techniques used to frame an innocent woman. It was a resounding declaration that justice is not a convenience, and the truth, no matter how fragile, deserves to be protected. Thank you so much for watching. If this story moved you, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel for more stories of justice being served. We'll see you in the next one.